I have a question.
Yes.
I know for me that sometimes I feel responsible for the other person's feelings, or the other person's energy. Like maybe I've done something to provoke them into sending me that message. Is that a valid point, or am I ever responsible for the message or the energy that somebody is putting off?
Well, again, I mean, you always say, well, there's that tagline that says, it takes two to tango. So there's really four things I think that go on with any type of interaction. It's the message we're sending, or we think we're sending, and it's the message that we think we're understanding and receiving. But then there's the reaction of the person and the reaction of us. So there's four languages being spoken, and really at any given time, we only understand one at best. Some of the times we don't even understand the message that we're sending, because we think we're sending a message and it's underlined by all of our hurts and all of our insecurities and whatnot. So we have this pile of stuff going on, and then we send a message that we think we're sending in a certain way. And it's hard, especially in this day and age, because we are so taught to not offend people. So it is tough, because if I send you a message and I've got 10 other things going on at the same time, I'm probably going to send more of one of my direct messages, because I'm pretty good at direct messages. So I'm going to send a direct message, and if that person has also had other things going on, which we always do have everything else running in the background, right? All these apps that are actually running in the background, then we don't know they're running. And so we can get a reaction from somebody. And so typically when we get a reaction that we weren't expecting, I'll say something to my husband as easy as, well, hey, maybe we should take a look at this. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And he gets offended by it. And I go, okay, that's interesting. So this is where this starts to play a role, is because I could go, oh my gosh, I asked wrong. Obviously, I probably shouldn't talk to him about that anymore. Because this isn't good at all. So it can get challenging because we want to come to a resolution of it. And in taking responsibility for other people's energy, we have to look at where those lines of communication are, because there's always a part of us that can say and take some responsibility for what we did in the communicating part. So, okay, you know what? I'm that probably came across wrong, because I was actually thinking about my dog. I wasn't really even thinking about you. So I apologize for the way that it came across, but actually taking responsibility for how they interpreted, I don't think that's the way that energy is supposed to work, because we do like to own other people's energy in thinking that it's going to benefit them. But from what I know from energy, it sends a negative ripple. When we take responsibility for other people's energy, it sends a negative ripple out to both the person that we're taking responsibility for and us. So it doesn't do us any justice on either party to have either party take responsibility for other people's energy.
Can you explain a little bit more when you mentioned that you take on other people's energies and you have to allow yourself to do that? Can somebody take on all negative energies from other people and then it just kind of layers on top of their own? And how do you learn not to take on other people's negative energies, or try and find resolve for those people?
Well, generally, you bring up a really good point in that we say that it's negative energy, and it isn't. I don't ever want us to coin terms as negative or positive energy. It's either energy that belongs to us or it's energy that doesn't belong to us. And so having something where we say that, oh, we're taking on their negative energy, it just means that we're taking on their energy. And when we take on too much energy, it creates a nervous system that is so sensitive because we can't become accustomed to every single wave that goes by. So what it does is why it creates a negative impact on us is because we become so sensitive. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but then it can start creating some unwanted results inside of us. Because when we have an over-heightened nervous system, our hormones can go off. So we have that attitude and mood fluctuation. We have nervous system reactions with migraines. We have nervous system reactions with anxiety and depression and other types of things that when we take on energy or we absorb the energy, it can cause us effects. So if you are having those types of nervous system issues, 100% you know already that you're taking on other people's energy because somehow you want to fix it. Because somehow you want to fix it, you want to make it better, you want to resolve it for the person, but it isn't physically possible because it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't have your coding. It's like if somebody that you love and care about needed a kidney, of course you'd want to give them a kidney. But if you're not a match for them, even if you give them a kidney, they're still probably not, it's not going to work. So, you know, when these energies start to collide, it starts to transform things. And when we hold on to it, it's usually because we're trying to rescue the person. Now, how do we learn how to channel that, or how do we learn to let it go? That starts to come into a little bit more of work as far as who we believe we are and who we believe as far as that we should be taking responsibility for certain things. And it becomes challenging, for example, in a situation where you're a caregiver for somebody and where you believe that maybe they can't do it for themselves, or where you be in a counseling type of situation where you want to be able to take away their hurts, or you want to be able to take away their frustrations and things that they should innately be responsible for. Does that answer your question? So we will go over some of the things about learning different things, but it is generally when you have a physical symptom of that type of mood shifting, when there really is no reason for mood shifting, when you have a physical pain, that there's real, like you didn't fall and hit your head, or you didn't, you know, those certain things, generally is a good indicator that you've been holding on to some energy. And it could be your own energy. So it is definitely, when you have these different types of symptoms, headaches are a big thing, stomach issues are a big thing, constipation is a really big thing, constipation or diarrhea is a really big thing to notice when you're for energy, while it can also be skin issues, rashes, I mean, an array of different things. But when you find that something is chronic and it's really not releasing when you've kind of done what needs to be done to release it, it's when you can start to reach out to some of the different tools